hope you're doing well. So today I'm coming to you from the ice rink I'm working on building. Today we're going to do a hose flood. So I think also I'm going to just talk about building ice rinks. And I have no idea how this is going to go. But I'm excited to try it. So, this is the fourth ice rink I've built. The first two were indoor ice rinks, and they were at the same place back when I worked at an ice rink. Oh boy, it was like, man, 12, 14 years ago now. Ugh. Saying that makes me feel super old. But one of them was on sand. So ice rinks have different bases. Some of them have sand. I think most of them maybe have concrete. And so at that ice rink, one was on sand, and the freezing pipes that are below the ice were buried in the sand, and the other was on concrete. Because the original idea when they built that rink was to melt the ice in the summer and have roller hockey, or to do, they wanted to do indoor soccer, I think. I think they only did that for 1 year. But by the time I was working there, they weren't doing that anymore. So, the only time we ever rebuilt those was because there was a problem with the pipes, and we had to go fix the pipes and then put the ice back in. So, then this one, a friend of mine was running it, and then COVID happened, and everybody that was helping him, quit to get other jobs, and they couldn't come back and help him, so he asked if I wanted to help, and I was super burned out doing photo video stuff, so I was like, hell yeah, I could not sign up fast enough, because I missed working on an ice rink, and so, I helped him set this up here, and he moved to Minnesota to work for the company that because this is at a college, at a medical college here in Nebraska called UNMC. And it's really it's a pretty spiffy place. People are like, Nebraska, what's in Nebraska? And this place is in Nebraska. This is a place that cured Ebola. They have a world-class quarantine unit, and when COVID first happened, they were bringing COVID people here to be like, can you cure COVID too? So it was pretty ridiculous. It's very well funded. It's this whole huge campus. It's gotta be I don't know, tip to tip, it's gotta be half a mile at least, with a dozen plus buildings. It's crazy. Anyway, so they contract out a company called that comes and builds ice rinks, and they run this, but UNMC pays them. So anyway, so I'm in the process of adding layers to the ice, because we have the one of the decals in, which is the big logo for the school. And then we still need to put curling lines in, because they do curling on this rink. So anyway, the base of this, it's cement on this one. And then there's vinyl sheets. There's white vinyl sheets under it. And it's kind of a pain, because you can maybe kind of see how thick the vinyl sheets are. They're not very thick. So that's kind of annoying that we had to lay 40 sheets of vinyl. And if it's even a little windy, they blow up. So, but the good thing is we have chiller pipes below the ice. So that's how the ice is able to set up, even though it's 41 degrees outside. We can still build ice. It's not as good as if it was below freezing, obviously, but it's a lot more comfortable to stand out here in 41 degree weather. So, anyway, so right now, we're just trying to build ice, trying to get it as thick as possible. And that's kind of my job today, is to just stand out here and spray the whole rink down with a hose. So it's not super exciting, but it's got to get done. And I kind of enjoy doing it because it's really meditative. It's crazy that it's like 11 o'clock and some of these students are just going home now. Like it must be the final season here. But anyway, so right now, the first step I'm doing is kind of just hitting areas that either I know are low or that I know will need extra love. So like this logo will attract heat just because it's darker. So the sun will come up over there, it'll come this way, and all the decals on the ice will get hit and they'll absorb heat and they'll kind of start to melt the ice out from below. And so we want this as thick as possible. We're gonna probably build like an inch or more of ice on top of it. And we're gonna do our best to build as much as possible, because especially like last year, you know, it's an outdoor rink, and so last year we had like a derecho run through Nebraska in December, and it completely wiped the rink out. So hopefully we don't have anything crazy like that, but you know, climate change, who knows? So anyway, I'm just kind of hitting these problem areas first, so that they get a little bit of extra water. And then when I come back on the big flood, I'll add even more water on top of it. So it's like a little bonus layer that we can sit on top of it. And then over here, you can kind of see maybe one of our pipes must be broken, because it's not freezing right here very well. So we're kind of hoping that it gets cold fast, and we're going to be in a winter weather advisory here. So I'm hoping that's going to be tomorrow. So I'm hoping we'll get lucky and this will freeze up, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm just going to add as much water as I can tonight while I'm talking to you lovely folks until I get bored. And so I have no idea if this sounds good or not. The mic's like directly under my chin. But I'm hoping it sounds good enough, and the hose isn't too loud, and the big buildings aren't too loud. So, anyway, so this is kind of this is like stage 2. Stage 1 is putting the vinyl down, or some rinks will, if it's cement based, will paint, which I don't know why this one isn't just painted. I know they do like pickleball or something here in this space in the summer. But I'm like, just paint it white and, I mean, you know, draw the pickleball lines in or whatever. So, it is what it is. So we have to put the vinyl down, and then after that, we build ice, then we put this big decal down, and then we build more ice, then we put the curling logos in, and then we just build ice, and we just keep building ice, because it's going to need it probably. Because the sun is going to melt off a layer every single day, and so it's kind of it's a real Sisyphus kind of thing where you're just constantly coming in at night when it's cold enough and spraying it down with a hose for like an hour or two. So I'm actually on my second run. I did one before this that was just a no talking video, because I haven't made a no talking video in a while, and I was like, oh, that might be neat. And I did it last year, but the audio wasn't great because I was just using a GoPro. So this year I actually have a better audio solution. So I'm hoping we get some pretty decent sounds. Because just hearing the hose spraying, and sometimes you can kind of hear the ice crack under your feet. It's just real meditative, and I just love it. You know, behind driving a Zamboni, it's probably my favorite part of working at a rink. That and being able to skate for free, which is awesome. And what I really am excited about is when we finally have this rink up and running, I'm going to try to do some skating ASMR, you know, with some skate moves. Maybe I'm going to try, see what I can do with it. But that loud compressor thing it's right there. Like, I don't know if you can see it up on the roof there. And it's just always going, so it may or may not work. We'll see. But anyway, yeah. I'm just out here having a good old time, doing some fun. So the guy that used to run the place, he has his like buddy running it now, which I was kind of like, at first I was kind of offended. I was like, why didn't he ask me to like run it? And then I realized I didn't want to. But you're still like offended you didn't get asked so you could refuse. That's kind of what happened here. But that guy is super chill, which I'm like, oh cool. Like it's good that he's chill, but also like he maybe needs to be a little less chill because like the rink opens on Saturday and he works a full-time job during the day. And like we have like a minimal layer of ice. You can't skate on this yet. Like you can still see like where the vinyl is sticking up because it will. Like you just can't ever get it all perfect. It's kind of just a fool's errand to try. And as you build the ice up, it gets buried, so it doesn't really matter. And what doesn't get buried, we just cut off because you can't really see it. So anyway, but he's just so chill about everything. And I'm like, you need to be a little less not chill. Like you probably should be out here because like I wanted them to put the curling logos in today, but like there's like a student who's in charge of the curling, and like he's just like not responding to messages. And I was like, the deeper we can put the curling, the more protected it'll be from, the ice melting out on us. And it's just like he's not responding to messages. I wanted to do it today. But it's like, if it doesn't get done tomorrow, then I don't know. Like, part of me wants to be like, okay, well, we're just going to start doing the big hoses. Like, because, you missed your opportunity and like, your curling dots are going to melt out. And you're going to have a bad time, and you're probably going to have to cancel curling like half the time. Like, that's just what's going to happen because you didn't respond to our messages. Like, I understand school's probably more important for you, because he's a student or whatever, but like, then don't volunteer to run stuff. Like, it'd be one thing if you like, was like, oh, I can't do it. Like, can I get you guys the final strips? And be like, okay, yeah, we could do it, but like, so the problem I have is like, it's just going to cause a problem for us down the road when the ice starts to melt out. And it's like, it's not a big deal because it's like, whatever, I don't really care about this job. Like, I'm just doing it for fun and a little bit of money. When realistically, like, the money is not worth my time. Because it's paying like $13 an hour. So it's like, if I wanted a part-time job, like, I could definitely find something better. Because like, even like, Taco Bell in our area hires at like $15, $16 an hour or whatever. But that's not the point. The point is like people will get hurt because the ice would be messed up. And I'm like, I don't want people to get hurt. I would like to do a good job. It's hard for me to turn that part of my brain off. So, but I digress. Oh man. I should have brought water out here on the ice. I forgot like how much whispering like dries out the throat. But I'm out here. I take a sip from the walls. That is disgusting water. That is not high quality H2O. But it is what it is, right? So anyway, I remember the first time I rebuilt a rink. It was the sand-based rink, and we took it all down, but then we had to scoop by hand all the sand away from the pipe that was broken so we could get to the pipe. And the sand was still like packed and frozen, and the pipes would like scratch your fucking arms because the pipes didn't have like a lot of clearance between them. And it was like the worst like week of just digging out sand with our bare hands. And then I think when we put it back all together, they realized the pipe was actually broken on the other side of the ice, which they were like, damn it, and it was just leaking into the rink. So they put the ice back together, and somewhere in the process, like it broke again, and they were just like, F it, because it was like too close to the season. They couldn't do anything about it, so we just had to deal with it until the next season, which just meant more ice maintenance. And so, like, that sucked. And then the next time we did it, it was on the cement one. And that was so much easier because we just painted. And we could use like a skid loader to like pull all the old ice off. Like it just came like, we ripped that down and built it back up in a week, whereas the sand one took like a whole month to fix. Like it was crazy. So, but this is, you know, we've been working on this for like, maybe a little more than a week now, and it's coming together pretty good. Cement ones are just so much easier to build. Even with the paint of the vinyl, like we got the vinyl down in a day, and then we got this big logo down in like, I don't know, probably took us a half hour to get the big logo down. And so now it's just build ice, build ice, build ice. I wish we had the curling nuts in, but not my circus, not my monkeys, you know. I'm kind of, my role in this rink, I think, is gonna mostly just be maintenance kind of stuff, which is cool because that's what I want to do. But also I'm getting the sense that the guy that is running it is not super well organized. So I feel like I'm gonna end up working more than a few days because he's like, oh, my fiance like lost her job a couple months back. And so I think she's gonna work during the days because the rink's open during the day just for like the students to come skate mostly. It's only open for like 2 hours. And it's like the most chill time. It's like, that's cool because honestly, it's not worth $20 for me to drive, you know, 20 minutes to get here, work for a half hour, you know, work for 2 hours, then drive 20 minutes home. Like, that's like after taxes, it's like $20, you know, when it's like I generally have real stuff to do. Like, but then again, making ASMR videos, like, I spend an hour making each one, and like, they make like 50 cents to $1 each, like maybe, with the exception of like a couple of them that, you know, still, for whatever reason, make a couple bucks a month. Some of the no-talking ones do pretty well. I mean, they don't do great. They make like $3-4 a month, which is kind of cool in the abstract. Excuse me. Maybe I need to go grab my water. Jeez. But it's fun and it's kind of mindless. So it's nice to kind of have something where you can make money and turn your brain off, which is kind of what the ASMR is for me. So it's kind of like 2 opportunities to do that, which I really enjoy, you know, because this is the closest I get to self-care. And it's, me and my girlfriend were talking, and I'll probably make a video about this, but there's a concept called the Gordie-Howe hat trick, which is a goal, an assist, and a fight. And they call that a Gordie-Howe hat trick. Gordie-Howe is a pretty famous hockey player. They call him Mr. Hockey because he was like the Wayne Gretzky before Wayne Gretzky. And he's actually like the second most, I think he's like the second or third highest goal scorer of all time, with Gretzky being the first. But I think Yager is the third. I think that's right. Anyway, and so me and my girlfriend were talking about the concept of like, what would be, you know, my girlfriend's hat trick, and what would be, because it started with like, I explained that to her and I was like, oh, this is like Bear, our dog's hat trick. It's like going to get a coffee drink, going to the park, and then like yelling at other people or fighting people because he likes to, you know, get angry and be like, hey, he thinks the whole apartment complex is our lawn, you know. And he's really territorial, and so he likes to sit on the balcony and just yell. And so you say like, that's a Bear hat trick. And then her hat trick is like getting coffee, getting her nails done, taking a bath, you know, stuff like that. And then I was like, I don't think I have a hat trick. I don't think I can name 3 things that qualify as self-care for myself. And I was like, that's probably a problem. Because I was like, hockey, burrito, I don't know what else. Like, I legitimately can't think of a 3rd thing. It's like, I don't know, maybe making an ASMR video, I guess. Like, so that's kind of dicey that I can't think of 3 things that I do for self-care. So that's, I think, something I'm going to be trying to do next year is experimenting with self-care tactics. I'm getting my water. Nice and cold. So I'm like, if you got ideas, like what do you do for self-care? Do you guys have, guys and ladies and in-betweenies, do you have a self-care schedule, a routine, stuff you do? Like what sparks joy in your life? I gotta figure that out for myself, obviously. But this sparks joy. I'm like, how do I do this for a living? Because this doesn't pay enough. Like, even if I get another job at a full-time ice rink, like, well, I don't know. Because last time I worked at an ice rink, they were paying me $13 an hour to manage the place. And so it's like, that was 14 years ago. I would hope it's, I hope a manager is getting $20 an hour now. That's probably what the inflation would dictate after 14 years. I would hope anyway, but they're probably not, because ice rinks are not exactly a high margin business, Keeping an ice rink running is really expensive. But if I could do ice maintenance full time, I think that might be, you just put a book on tape on and you just vibe to the sounds of the hose. Like, it's great. The other problem with that is, like, I probably can't really be on my feet with all the foot problems I've had. So, like, maybe that's not a good solution. So, I don't know. But, like, how can I microdose this for self-care? Like, volunteer firefighter, maybe. I don't know. I just like spraying shit with a hose. Like, it's so mindless. You just turn your brain off. And then when you're done, like, just seeing, like, how nice and classy the rink, it's just so smooth. You're like, yes. Like, it's so, I don't know. I like that a lot. I also like, talking about self-improvement stuff. So, like, I don't know if that's like, the problem is, like, oh, I like to read, but, like, I always read, like, self-help books, and then I feel bad for not working, like, a lot of self-help books don't go heavy on the self-care stuff. Like, it's kind of like, you should be working harder, and then I'm like, yeah. And so I think my brain is just so tuned to that concept of, like, no days off, like, that hustle culture that, like, I can't, like, I need my self-care to be productive even. I think that's why, like, making videos is, like, the closest I can get to self-care in some days. Because it's, like, it's fun. I enjoy doing it. And I know, like, it's not really that productive because I'm making, like, 50 cents or less most videos, and anything else would probably be a better use of my time. But I just like doing it. And then hockey, obviously. But the problem is, like, I've been filming hockey, and so, like, it's turning into a side hustle of its own almost. And it's like, oh, fuck, okay. Do I just not get any self-care? Because I just can't sit, like, even if I'm, like, watching movies, I need to, like, be editing while I'm watching movies. Like, I can't just sit. Like, I could maybe go to the theater, like, sometimes. But by the end of, like, especially, like, these 2-hour-long movies, like, I can't do it. Like, my brain just, like, goes, like, we should be working, And, so I don't know. I thought about picking up instruments again, playing guitar, and I was like, yeah, probably turn that into a YouTube channel or try to record stuff or videos or, I don't know, something. And it's like, damn it, okay. I don't know, I'm just having a hard time with that. But that's a weird side tangent. I don't really know what to talk about with the ice rink. I was going to talk about, ice rink stuff. I'm trying to think of, like, I can tell you how an ice rink works. So there's a couple parts. Like, there's pipes. So there's pipes under this. And they just run coolant nonstop. And there's a compressor. I think it's in that building up there. I don't know if you can see my finger. It's that building. And it works like a fridge, basically. It just cools the liquid, sends it back through. And that's what keeps the ice cold. The liquid's running at, like, 18 degrees or something like that. I think that's as cold as they can get it. I wish they could get it a little colder, but I think the colder you run it, it starts to run hard, and then like, I think you run the risk of breaking it maybe. I don't know. I don't know enough about that stuff, so don't quote me on that. But you can also, the ice can be too cold. It can get too hard, and then it's not good to skate on. So I think you want to keep it at like the ice temperature somewhere in like the 20-degree ranges, I think. And then I think figure skaters want it a little softer, so they want it a little warmer. And so I feel like at the rink I worked at, we kept it at 23, which was like a happy medium between what the two camps wanted. But so there's the compressor, and then there's chillers, which would be, if this was an indoor rink, would just be chilling the air temperature to keep the air temperature cool. And then obviously the ice freezes better when those are working at full capacity and it's not summertime, you know. So that's kind of an ice rink in a nutshell. It's a pretty simple concept. It's basically just like a big freezer. And then obviously you have the Zamboni, which is the ice resurfacing machine. And that works by scraping a layer off. And then it collects, then it kind of works like a big snowblower. It has these big augers that shoot it up into the big rectangle looking part in the front. And then you have, it drops a new layer of water behind it. So in an ideal world, it's taking off as much as it's putting back on, or sometimes you're putting on a little more than you're taking off, just depending on the blade angle, you know, like, because sometimes the ice starts to get low, and so you have to kind of ease up and pour more water and go slower. But then also, like, it has to be cold enough to do that, otherwise the ice won't set up. And then what's weird is that if there's water on the ice, a puck doesn't work. Like, it just sticks. It's so weird to see it. I wish I had a puck I could show you. I could just throw it, and it'll stop dead in the water. So it's all about balance, which is kind of like a metaphor for life, I guess. If you want to get deep and like there's that book, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, like Zen and the Art of Ice Maintenance. I should write that book once I figure out how to do self-care, because I don't know how to do that. Man, oh boy, what time is it? It's 11:42. I think I've been out here for like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, something like that. I don't know, I can't see. I might be able to tap the GoPro, but I'm also worried about the GoPro battery dying, so I'm not trying to turn the screen back on. Yeah, I don't know, like, I feel like I've kind of naturally run out of things to say. So I think I'm going to call it here and go back to reading my book. I hope you found this interesting. I hope the audio works. I might post it either way. And I hope you're doing well. And if not, well, I hope things turn around for you real soon. And as always, thank you for watching. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one.